Edition of Realities May Vary. We are starting the show on this note. I'm Brian Noonan. He's Cody Gough. What note do you want to start the program on? You said, I want to start the show on this note.
I can't decide if I want a beer.
Okay, that shouldn't be a decision that causes you so much angst.
I know. And yet I showed up, and that's the first thing I said.
What's keeping you from having a beer? What's the doubt? What's holding you back?
Well, I just had a frozen Monday. Well, I have not. It's not been a healthy Monday, Brian.
Oh, all right. What have you done?
I had a Popeye spicy chicken sandwich for lunch.
Ooh. Not healthy, but delicious.
Right.
I could see that being a thing.
With a Mountain Dew from my fridge.
Okay.
Just double whammy of unhealthiness. And then for dinner, I had a frozen pizza and a Mountain Dew.
I hope it was not a home run in frozen pizza.
Uh-oh, why?
They recalled a whole bunch of them. Do you know what kind of pizza you had?
It might have been a home run in.
Sorry to throw you. Oh, we might be ending early as Cody heads to the hospital.
Oh, more than 13,000 pounds of frozen meat pizza. So the good news is I don't think it had meat on it.
Oh, all right. That's good.
I'm clearly not a functional adult. My wife made me the frozen pizza. I know she put tomatoes and greens on top of it, but I don't know. I don't remember tasting meat.
All right. Well, this is the classic deluxe with sausage and the whole nine. This has a whole bunch of stuff on it.
No, I didn't do that. Okay, so I'm safe there.
All right, good. Thank goodness. I was worried about you.
Mike asking, do zero real sugar or regular? I do regular Mountain Dew. You know, they got alcoholic Mountain Dew in Iowa.
I saw that. Are you going to Iowa? Are you going to make a road trip? Are you going to go eastbound and down?
Well,
westbound and down?
If you end up driving to Colorado for any reason and you go through Iowa and you get your hands on some, you got my Christmas gift all locked up.
I'll do it. I'll do it like you did for me. I'm going to try my best. I'm kidding. Yeah, if I go to Iowa, I don't know if is Iowa the only place they have it?
There's like 2 states, and I know Iowa is one of them.
All right. Hello, Sally. Hello, Linda. I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere else. All right, we'll look because I go to other states.
Yeah, right now it's only available in Iowa, Tennessee, and Florida.
That's 3 states.
Yeah.
And Tennessee and Florida doesn't surprise me. The fact that they're grouped in with Iowa kind of shocks me a little bit.
I know, right?
Iowa doesn't say, I don't want Iowa to be Florida or Tennessee. I don't want that to be the case, but it is. All right. So but what'd you have for breakfast? You probably had a healthy breakfast.
Yogurt and fruit and a couple cups of coffee.
Okay. So that's good. Then you had a crazy lunch. You didn't eat the whole frozen pizza by yourself, right? You had some with your lovely bride.
She had half a slice.
Oh, all right. Did your kid eat some?
No, he was asleep.
All right. So you ate a lot of frozen pizza. Well, today's trashed. You might as well finish out strong. Go out big. Start again tomorrow. You're like The Rock. Today was your cheat day.
Oh, man. I was cheating. Oh, well, I would say I was cheating all weekend. I ate out. I mean, I was traveling all weekend, so I...
That's right. You were in Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what'd you eat? A lot of clams and oysters and lobster rolls?
I don't remember. I ate light because I ran out of... Yeah, it was a journey. What are we
Hold on. Are we going to have a health story?
No. Well, no. It's my health. My health is I don't know. I'm healthy. It's fine. It's maybe I do need a beer. I don't know. Or caffeine.
Yeah, I'm excited because you have not put one full sentence together.
Well,
you've uttered about 7,000 words, and not one of them have been coherent.
We got in at like 1 a.m. to Midway
today.
Yeah, and then we had to drive. So
sweet Mama Louche.
Yeah, so I'm not firing on all cylinders.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. We had a layover in Orlando.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull out my mental map, and I'm gonna say, Martha's Vineyard's up here in Massachusetts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Orlando down here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you laid over in Orlando. I'm guessing you took the kid to Disney. Dropped a couple grand
free weekend.
Oh, that's right. All right. So you're in. How long was the layover in Orlando?
Like a half hour.
Oh, okay. So you didn't really have time to even do anything.
Mm.
They got a nice brewery in the.
Well, it was either meth or bath salts. We did one of those.
Oh.
While we were in Florida, we just figured we'd act like the locals.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So, all right. So, did you know you were going to have a layover? Was this part of the plan, or did you have a direct flight from Martha's Vineyard and they just went, you know what you'll like better? Going to Florida.
I don't remember the original. There were many plan changes. The original booking, because we didn't fly to the islands directly.
Okay, right, yeah.
But you can. There's an airport there.
On Martha's Vineyard?
Yeah.
Like a full-size airport?
Full-size airport if you want to pay about $300 more per ticket.
That sounds about right, yeah.
It's kind of a lot of money. So, no, we flew into Providence, Rhode Island, took a cab to the ferry, which is in like, you know, the industrial shipping yards in Indiana along Lake Michigan?
Yeah, sure. I love those places. That's where I go to do a lot of extortion and shakedowns.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine driving to one of those for an extortion and shakedown, and there's no like gravel or path. It's just like rocks everywhere and shipping containers, and that's where the ferry dock is. I'm not exaggerating.
Are you kidding?
There's literally a trailer that they have. It has one bathroom you can go in. And then this giant ferry pulls up, but it's literally, there's like smokestacks and it's in the middle of some big construction yard. And it's always been that way. So we take the cab. There's a couple of ferries, but we took that one. We take the fast
because you wanted
ferry.
a legitimate rustic ferry experience?
Very rustic, yeah. So we hop on that. It was like a 2-hour ferry to the island, but it did save us a lot of, like, it saved us $1,000 for the pair of tickets, literally.
Whoa, all right.
It's crazy. And the other thing is, we had to fly Southwest because we canceled the Southwest flight last year. So we had the credit, but it expires this year.
Right. So you got to use it up.
And that's why we ended up with the layover in Orlando, because there weren't that many direct flights. I don't remember if our original return flight was a direct flight, because we were going to come back early in the day. We changed it because the ferry didn't go back to Providence early enough. Right. So we're there and we're like, we can't make the flight. So we had to move it to the end of the day. And then that's what ended up as in Orlando. So we had 2.5 hours, a 2.5 hour flight south to Orlando, and then a 2.5 hour flight north to Chicago. It was like a perfect triangle. We just didn't travel the hypotenuse. Would this have been the hypotenuse? It doesn't matter. We didn't travel the short stick of that triangle. We just did the really long, narrow triangle, like a you know.
Yes, because this was not an isosceles triangle.
No, it was
or
not.
An equilateral triangle. This was some obtuse triangle.
It was
obtuse means there's an angle bigger than 90 degrees.
Yes. So this was not obtuse.
So this would be acute?
It was adorable. I wouldn't say
sure. Well, acute. It's either acute or obtuse or isosceles.
You're right. And I don't mean that you've got a 90-degree angle on you.
The only reason I'm so confident, I spent a lot of time talking about triangles last year in school.
Oh,
a lot of acute and obtuse, doing the whole nine. I was all over the triangles. So, was there no other way to get from Martha's Vineyard to Providence other than this one ferry that only ran whenever the hell it wanted to, because it knew it had to go back to the funky Providence shipping yards where Marlon Brando was doing an on the waterfront recreation?
No, there were like 3 or 4 different ferries we could have taken, but this was the right one that was closest. Question, I don't know. Look, I literally did not even Google Martha's Vineyard before my wife. She planned. It was her friend's wedding. She's like, let's fly in now and do the ferry at this time. I'm like, I don't care. That sounds fine. You're handling it. And so I didn't know Martha's Vineyard was an island originally.
Is that right?
I was picturing like the Biltmore estate. I was picturing a bunch of grape like fields and a giant like palace, because that's where I just imagine presidents hang out, not some like just random island near Massachusetts. Like that was a different experience than what I had planned for.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I get it. I get it.
What do you know about Martha's Vineyard?
I know it's where the hoi polloi go to play. I know that's where, like you said, presidents and the Kennedys don't go there. They go to Kennebunkport. but I don't know much about Martha's Vineyard other than it seems like it would be out of my price range.
You know,
That's really all I know, and that could be way off.
it is way
Is
off.
it?
It's just an island.
Well, how
It's
can
just
it be so nice that Martha Stewart and Obama and Dan Aykroyd, all these other people go to Martha's Vineyard? It's got to be big time money.
I don't know. There must be a part of the island that's big time money. And we went to a couple like very nice vacation homes, but like there's like 5 towns. It's very diverse. A couple of the towns are
Really?
dry towns.
Oh,
It's
I wouldn't want to go to
massively
that town. Dry
It's
towns.
massively diverse. So actually, so the wedding we went to, the groom is primarily the groom's friends and family because his wife's family is in Egypt, in Cairo, because she's
Oh, wow.
Egyptian. So yeah,
Okay.
so they did a Egyptian, I think it was a Muslim ceremony over there with her family, and then they came over
Okay.
here to do this. It's mostly, but his group of friends, very diverse group of friends, like. It's one of those, it's like probably 60 or maybe 70% like white dudes, and then like a lot of black people, a lot of like just different, just like races and backgrounds. So
Are
it's
you
pretty
pointing
diverse.
out the diversity to assuage your white guilt for going to Martha's Vineyard and hobnobbing among the well-to-do?
It's a primarily black island. That's why I'm saying this, because I talked
Are you
to,
sure you went to Martha's Vineyard?
I'm 100, I'm 90.
Okay.
I mean, the black people that I talked to who were guests at the wedding that we hung out with all weekend, some of them are very like active into the history and like kind of like the social justice kind of movements. I don't know the right term for it, but they're aware of the context of these places, and they were telling me about the black history of it. There's just
Oh,
one
wow.
beach. We were like, oh, should we go to this beach? And they were like, well, no, you don't really like lay out on the beach. It's a rocky beach. It's kind of a crappy beach, but that's where like the black people had to go because like of segregation and stuff like that. So
Oh.
that's where the history of it is, but then it became like a cool spot. So there's like an interesting, like intricate history. But then when I was looking on like Wikipedia, it didn't really record a lot of that. I was reading and I was trying to fact check before this thing, and I couldn't find some of it. There is a section in the page about the black history of the island, but no, it's a I'm gonna look at Martha's Vineyard demographics right
All right.
now
Oh,
because
I see
this
I'm
says
looking at a detailed map of Martha's Vineyard. Are you talking about Joseph Sylvia State Beach?
no, there was a different one.
The Cedar Tree Neck Sanctuary?
No, it was a different one.
Long Point Beach?
No,
Lucy Vincent Beach?
no,
Menamasha Public Beach?
no,
I don't think you were really on this island. Stonewall Beach?
no. Why am I?
Squibnocket Beach?
I'm looking at a demographic information of Martha's Vineyard, and there's no. Wait, according to the 2010 census, African Americans remain a small percentage, less than 4%. That doesn't. Well, then I was in like
You were fed a bill of goods.
No, dude, I don't know. No, that doesn't make any sense. It's like everyone there was not white. Like
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
there were not that many white people there. What the hell? Okay, well, I don't know what part of the island I was on, but it was not apparently the representative part of the island. So anything I say about the island is just going to be wrong. So I'll just stop there.
Was it South Beach or Katama Beach?
No, we were on the northeast coast
Northeast coast. All right.
of the vineyard. Yeah. Okay. Everything I've been fed was a lie. I ignore everything I've said. Look, the part that I was
Lambert's
on
Cove Beach.
didn't seem like super fancy. Wasn't super expensive. I wasn't paying $15 or $20 for cocktails. It was like $10.
Well, that's good.
I don't know, man. Whatever. It's fine. I apparently didn't go to the crazy weird rich part or something. But that's my review.
Maybe
is like,
maybe there's not a crazy rich part.
my review is I don't need to go back. Like I
Okay.
went, it's an island. You feel like you're just like, I felt like I was like in New Jersey, frankly, like just somewhere by where there's ocean and like some buildings that look like they're beachfront properties. That's about it.
Really? All right. Well, see, now that goes that you've educated me, because that's not when I hear Martha's Vineyard, I think fancy schmancy. Kind
I
of
will
like
no
when I
longer-
hear that people are going to the Hamptons.
See, what's that? Is that a mountain?
No, the Hamptons are on Long Island.
Long Island?
Long Island, yes, near New York. You ever heard of it?
What? What's the Hampton? I thought it was just an inn.
No, oh no. The Hamptons are all where now that's like where Howard Stern has his mansion and Billy Joel and it's all the way on the the far eastern part of Long Island. So all the rich people from Manhattan have places on or in the Hamptons. You can go to Montauk or East Hampton or Southampton or Sag Harbor. That's where the money is.
You know where I keep my mansions, Brian?
Next to your womanshins.
Wow.
That was horrible.
That calls for a beer.
All right. So I've helped you make the decision. We've come full circle to are you going to get a beverage or not?
I'm literally going to get a beer because you said that.
Go get a beer. Make it a good one. You're going to need it because you're going to need to go. What? Don't just stand here.
It's going to be I was
take your time.
I was finishing your train of thought. I didn't want to interrupt.
I don't know. I had nowhere. It derailed.
Well, I'm not even on a train. I'm apparently on a ferry that goes to the wrong part of a rich island.
I've named every beach and you said no to all of them. So I don't even
lobster
know.
Roll. All right, hold on. Keep Googling beaches. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Again, Cody did not really, unless he tried to go to East Chop Lighthouse, but that's temporarily closed, or McConaughey, which is on the island. They call the whole island Martha's Vineyard. So it's not like I thought Martha's Vineyard was one little town, but it's not. It's the whole island is Martha's Vineyard. Anyway, for those of you who came in late, hello everybody. Victoria, thank you. I saw that Stuart jumped in. Hello, Stuart. Glad to see everybody joining us this week again. I am going to talk to Cody about this. I took his recommendation, and I was going through Wisconsin the other day on Friday, and I picked up some of that Third Gear pre-made old-fashioned mix. So this is the bourbon old-fashioned, and it is quite tasty. I also got the brandy one. And, if Third Gear wants to sponsor a drinking segment of the program, we'd be happy to have you. A lot. We're going to get to a lot, but we finally we're going to have to get to the bottom of this trip and why Cody. I love an island, quite frankly. If I was to go on a vacation to some island, I would find it very peaceful. Now, I was not there for a wedding, so it wasn't. I'm sure he had a lot to do all the time and was running around. Now, Marta says Kennebunkport was bush. I do see Chappaquiddick Island on Martha's Vineyard, so I'm guessing that's got to be the same Chappaquiddick where Ted Kennedy forgot how to drive. But allegedly, no, that's not allegedly. Well, he's dead. He's not gonna come after me. Maybe East Beach. That's not where Cody wanted to go because that's near Chappaquiddick. That's where the fancies go. I was telling everybody I'm trying your recommendation for Third Gear and hoping that they'll sponsor the broadcast. But again, if you say you were in the northeastern part of Martha's Vineyard, which is the whole island is Martha's Vineyard. I thought it was just one town on there. There's a bunch of towns on Martha's Vineyard. You were either trying to go to Inkwell Beach.
Inkwell
Beach. Got it, by Oak Bluffs. Sure. Right by Farmnet Golf Club. Sounds like I know a lot about Martha's Vineyard. I'm just looking at a map.
Please realize this is not an educational podcast and to take everything that I said with a lot of grains of salt. Look, I was told this stuff. I trusted the people I heard it from. I may have been misinformed slightly. I truly thought it was at least a 50% Black Island. I'm floored, like based on everything I saw everywhere and everyone I saw. I'm shocked that it is a vast majority white island.
I'm hating to tell you that you were way off.
I was, no, this is actually shocking to me.
Now you could have taken a ferry to Nantucket. The boat ride's so long, you'd say, suck it.
I didn't want any honey.
Is that so? Why should I know that?
Because it's nectar.
Nectar from Nantucket?
What? My wife, you're responding the exact same way my wife did. Nantucket Nectars. It's a brand.
Of
It's a
what?
brand of like juice or something. I don't even know what brand it is. This is the
Then how do you even
episode
know how do you even know it's a thing?
Nantucket Nectars because I can see the logo in my face. They sell juice at like 7-Eleven.
Nantucket Nectars?
Yeah, Nantucket Nectars. You
I
get
don't
like
think they come from Nantucket, though.
pineapple or well, okay then.
All right, so you get to the island.
Yeah.
You take the ferry over.
What? I was done with the story.
Oh, are you? You just don't want to go back. But the wedding was nice. Well, maybe we should be done because all your facts about Martha's Vineyard are way off.
I'm drinking a coconut death
Oh, you son of a gun.
from Revolution. Don't worry, I'm
How
saving you at least one.
How is it? I just want to sip.
Mounds of coconut and oak. Well, you're not going to get a sip. You're going to have a whole one and then get toasty because there's
toasty.
how much alcohol is in it? Oh, they stopped putting it on they stopped printing the out. Oh no, 15%.
15%. That's good. That's all you need. That'll set you right up after with some jet lag. And I'm enjoying this bourbon, the bourbon old fashioned from Third Gear.
Isn't it good?
It's tasty. I got a bottle of that and a bottle of the brandy one.
Yeah, I got both. I get one of each when I go. So have you tried both?
I haven't. This is the first time I've tried it. I was going to have one the other night and I just was like, so I didn't. And I thought, I got to try one tonight. So I flipped a coin and I went with the bourbon one. So I will have the brandy one later in the week.
Is it not better than most pre-mixed beverages? Like
100%. Yeah.
all, I would say.
Because it tastes like actual alcohol. It doesn't taste, it's not syrupy. It's not, it tastes like an old fashioned. It's supposed to.
Yes.
Bourbon with a little bit of something in there.
It's not syrupy, but it's not like, because I got like a Knob Creek pre-mix old fashioned.
Okay.
Which you think is top shelf because it's not,
Yeah.
but it's terrible. It literally, well, the thing is, it's not terrible. It tastes like Knob Creek with like a splash of lemon or something.
Oh, okay.
And if you love the taste of Knob Creek, great. But if I wanted straight whiskey, I would just buy straight whiskey.
Yeah.
I want a cocktail that doesn't taste like it. So it's like, it's just sweet enough to where it really, really does take the bite off, but you can taste that whiskey in there.
Yeah, it's good. I panicked. I'll be honest. I went, Friday I had to go back up to Milwaukee because WTMJ is moving to a new location.
So good.
And it was very, very reminiscent of when we went through when the old place was moving out of the tower. And everybody's so excited. And they tour around and, there's 3 radio stations in the Good Karma group, and the Good Karma home office is moving to this spot. And it's in a building downtown that has this big food hall that has shuffleboard and ping pong and video games and coffee. Unbelievable. So, they're walking us through and it's not quite done yet. And a lot of similarities, like the sliding glass doors for the offices, where everybody was tripping already over the rails. And I was like, a lot of people had to I'm whispering. There were a couple of guys there that I knew well enough where we were making little comments throughout. And I was like, people had to put signs up on the glass because they were falling down. All right. And everybody's all excited about all these things. And, the new rules about food and beverages at the workplaces. And, we want everything to stay pristine and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's going to last about 6 months. Because it's all open concept again. Just like at the old place, when they open everything up. And it's very nice. And there's a ton of it. I was laughing because I got a feeling the same people who designed our old place designed this, because a lot of those little conference rooms or gathering rooms, we were going to have all those little spaces where you could meet and da-da-da-da-da. That was what they told us over there. And nobody ever used them. So they turned them into other stuff. Same thing here. A lot of, and it's all very nicely done. And each conference room has its own theme and own name because they represent the other markets in the brand, and everything is top of the line. And I was just laughing because I was having deja vu. Then we go into this cafe. It's gigantic. Oh, and this is where you can come, and we'd like you to eat out here. And there's two banks of microwaves and refrigerators and all stainless steel stuff and counters. And then there's booths and tables. And then in the back, there's all these big, like, conversation pits where the stuff moves around, where you could, so, oh, everybody's going to have fun and we're all going to come in here and you can eat, and you can just hang out. And maybe you want to work in here, blah, blah, blah. And then here's the game room. And there's going to be a ping pong table and this giant TV, like an IMAX screen TV is always going to have sports on it. And you can just come in and they're describing all this stuff that it sounds great. And I'm like, when is anybody supposed to work? Because they never mentioned work, really. They mentioned we're all going to be able to do this. And this got me. I like this. They're like, none of the cubicles or none of the workstations are going to have individual trash cans. You got to go into the cafe. It's communal trash cans. And I was like, okay, that seems strange, but all right, good. And at one point I turned to one of the producers and I was like, where do we do radio? He's like, yeah, I don't know. So the studios are downstairs and they have windows that face out into this food hall. So people will be able to watch us do shows like they used to do at the showcase. And the studios, not done yet, but laid out really nice. Everything looks like it's going to be top of the line. There's an entrance off the loading dock in case some big wig is coming and doesn't want to have to walk through the food hall and then take the elevator up to the offices and then come down. You just, like say the governor's coming in. They just call, they go, oh, the governor's here, and he pulls right up to the door and runs in. Boom. So that was very nice. But I say all that to say, deja vu, but then I had to stop at Woodman's because I'm coming back and I'm like, all right. And I start looking. I actually stopped at Woodman's on my way up. And I'm like, I could just run in and get this. Then I start panicking because I can't find it anywhere. And I'm down the bourbon aisle. And all I saw was they had a bullet pre-made old fashioned and a pre-made Manhattan. And I was like, that can't be it. And I'm looking. And then I finally see a little sign, pre-made cocktails. I'm like, and as soon as I turn the corner, I'm like, there they are. And boom, I grabbed them and that was it. But I panicked for a minute. Not really. I like being at Woodman, so it wasn't a panic, but I also had to get to this meeting. And, now I knew my car also was in the crosshairs for thievery because after we mentioned last week the Kia boys that were stealing cars up in Milwaukee, then everybody's sending me notes. It's not just in Milwaukee. It's here in Chicago. And here, because we do things a little bit bigger than in Milwaukee, it's Kias and Hyundais. So my entire family's fleet of vehicles is on the hot list for being swiped.
See, you got to be like me and not even know what kind of car you drive because then you don't think it's going to get stolen. I'm safe.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the food hall, it's at the Avenue in Milwaukee. The food hall's open now and it was nice. We had lunch there after the tour on Friday and 11 to 6 happy hour every day, $2 off pints. I had myself a spotted cow and a bratwurst. Why wouldn't I? I was in Wisconsin.
Does the studio face any beaches?
No. Well, no. And I don't know the demographics of the Avenue. So I can't spread any misinformation. It faces, we don't know what the food stand is that's going to be what we face actually. Because WTMJ is at the end, then ESPN's in the middle, and the Truth is on the other end. So the Truth kind of faces north-south, and it looks kind of at a wall. And we look out, but the food place that we will be facing has not opened yet. So we don't know what it's going to be.
Wait, one of the places the Truth faces is a wall?
Well, it faces down. It's out. You can see it, but it actually faces one of the ping pong tables.
Oh.
Yeah. So if people are playing ping pong, they'll be right outside the Truth's window.
Wow, that'd be fun for the host to watch. Unless a ping pong flies through the window at high speed and hits one of them in the head.
How hard would you have to hit a ping pong ball to go through, I'm guessing, double or triple paned soundproof glass?
Pretty hard, but the Truth hurts.
Boom. Oh. So we leave that and we move on to something else. That was very nice. I
Thanks.
left the windows open again today, despite the cicadas, and now a train.
I hear the choo-choo train. I'm gonna open my window because I think my cicadas just shut up. Actually, I'm still on my headphones.
Yeah, wait. I don't hear many cicadas either. Yeah, the train's going by. I like to add a little ambiance, little local ambiance to the broadcast if we can. Did anyone steal your car? No, Mike. Nobody stole it this time. I don't think I wasn't panicked by it. I got a spot right by the door, and I came out and I was thinking, is my car going to be there? Because I was nervous. But no, my car survived. And so far, from the producer that had his car stolen for the third time the other day, I didn't see him there on Friday. He was probably taking a tour at a different time. But everybody knew that, yes, his car had, in fact, been stolen for the third time in a year. You just set that car on fire after that.
That's rough.
What'd you think of the big search warrant, the big raid, the big Mar-a-Lago FBI dealio? Or do you do you have any thoughts?
Is Mar-a-Lago an island, or
Mar-a-Lago but it's
is it
close.
a vineyard?
It's right on the water.
Is it a vineyard on the water, or is it like a palace?
It's one man's attempt at a palace. Sure, yeah. One man's attempt to, show that he is more than others. So yeah, you could call it a palace.
I'll be honest, Brian. I actually knew that this happened.
I figured you were You were at a wedding, and I heard the wedding very diverse. So I'm sure people were talking about current events.
Yeah, sometimes.
So I'm sure that came up.
Yeah, I did not actually see the warrant though. That came a few days later, right? That was recent, like today, yesterday.
No, the warrant came out over the weekend.
Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's Saturday
why the warrant came up. No, today they were asking a federal judge to block the release of the affidavit because the Justice Department said if that gets released, it's going to compromise their investigation. It's going to it could give away the informants that are helping them. It could give away everything that they're working on. So they're saying, fine, you got the search warrant, which they could have released themselves, just saying what was taken. But the affidavit that is how they made their case to the judge, where the judge went, oh yeah, you have grounds to have a search warrant for this property. There's enough probable cause that a crime has been committed. They don't want to unseal that.
Why would they unseal that?
Just to, I don't know, shut everybody up.
That's not going to shut anybody up. It's going to have 50% of the people in this country thinking about hunting down and killing people that tipped them off.
Well, they're already doing that.
Right.
Yeah, they're already doing that. We got that, the guy in Ohio that got shot ended up getting shot down by government employees after he tried to kill them.
The FBI guy.
FBI guy, yeah.
Yeah, it's man. Well, yeah, here's my hot take, and then I want to hear what yours is. My hot take is nothing's going to change no matter what evidence comes out, no matter what so let me specify what I mean by that.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that no matter what evidence comes out, no matter what someone is found guilty of or arrested for doing, or evidence is supporting that X or Y happened, the people who like Donald Trump will not change their mind about him.
I agree 100%.
They will go one of two ways. They will either justify it some way, or deny that it happened by making up some crazy conspiracy theory, like that some magician named Q has been infiltrating the government and doing like weird like brain ops operations on like pedophiles in pizza parlors or something. Oh, wait a second, this already happened. So
why does it always come back to the pizza parlor?
It's so strange. So I don't know. I guess it'd be cool if I don't know, some dude stole nuclear launch secrets and then got arrested for it. I think that would be a good step.
That'd be neat
towards the person, one step towards discouraging future people from stealing really profound national secrets and just hanging out with them and weird beachfront
Yeah.
property. But who am I? So, that'd be cool. But end of the day, I don't think the conversation's not going to change, Brian. The conversation, the rhetoric of the left is not going to change. The left is laughing at us. The left, and look at the left. They're laughing at us, guys. They think it's funny that we got arrested for stealing the nuclear codes. And that's just like woke snowflakeism. Then they have people on CNN
Wow.
Orange man bad, did the bad thing. Ratings go up. Me, Rachel Maddow. So
Rachel Maddow's her show's being taken over.
Good.
She's leaving by Alex Wagner,
Jones?
the woman from the circus.
Oh.
No, not Alex Jones. Oh my god.
That'd be amazing if Alex Jones took over for Rachel Maddow just for a night, for like April Fools. Could you imagine?
Oh, that would be the ultimate April Fool.
All the snowflakes on the left would get so upset by that, by him instigating violence. What's wrong with that?
Who is your right wing Valley girl?
Why is that my alt-right voice?
I don't know. Who are you? Are you Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert?
I don't know who those people are.
Come on, you know who those people are.
No, I don't, and I don't care to find out. I've heard the names, but I don't know who they are.
All right, good. All right.
Isn't Marjorie Taylor Greene like a crazy senator or something?
She's a congressperson from Georgia.
Okay.
And Lauren Boebert is the gun-toting lunatic who is married to a guy who was arrested for exposing himself to teenage girls at a bowling alley. She's from Colorado.
That's illegal.
Well, you would think, but to them, it didn't really happen, despite police reports.
Well, I want to hear your take because you're such a snowflake, and I bet you're
I am a snowflake, and I'm a sheeple. I may be a libtard. I don't know. I've got a lot of labels. I wear a lot of patches. I have, I don't have. The only thing I'm missing is flags with a president's name on them, or hats with snappy titles, or different things. Here's my take. I agree with you that in the end, you're not going to change anybody's mind. I am hopeful that because Merrick Garland is a very refined AG. He's the Attorney General. He's the Attorney General.
I know. I'm Googling what Attorney General means.
All right. He's the head of the Justice Department. He is the chief law enforcement officer for this nation. Okay. Well, anyway, he's very careful. He's not trying to be flashy. They pulled off this warrant being served with no leaks. That was the best part. Nobody knew it was coming till they were almost at the door. And then the FBI called the Secret Service and said, "Hey, we're coming in." And the Secret Service was like, "Okay, we'll meet you at the door," and brought them in. And they did what they were supposed to do. And I love that it has been framed by the Orange One and his minions as it was a raid. It was a raid on the compound, and it was occupied by huge numbers of FBI agents. They were serving a search warrant that had been signed off on by a federal judge who he had appointed. It was served by the FBI, whose director he appointed. And they found what they were looking for, and they gave the list, like they always do after a search warrant, of everything that was taken. Now, if you believe him, you believe he didn't have the boxes of files, but his passport was in the boxes, and they took his passport, which was in the box of files that he didn't have, that he had given away, and that he had declassified, even though he didn't tell anybody he declassified them. And you can't just say, "Oh, those were declassified," when they weren't. So even Fox News today has had to kind of backpedal and go, "Well, maybe." So now they hurt themselves. They get their, they're laying on the ground crying because they're like, this is getting crazier. And he could have come out at any point when his nut jobs are equating the FBI and the Justice Department to the Gestapo, and representatives are calling for war, but he hasn't. Today he did say the temperature needs to come down, but he didn't say, "Hey man, stop threatening the FBI." Because aren't we the people who are supposed to be all about not defunding the police and all about supporting law enforcement? Even though our supporters beat them with flags on the steps of the Capitol on January 6th. But let's not talk about that part. Let's talk about how we want to keep law enforcement financed, and we want to make sure that law enforcement is intact until law enforcement actually works against us. Because we might have done something really bad, unless you're Rand Paul and you think that the Espionage Act is outdated. So, okay. Oh, you didn't hear that part too? Oh no, he wants. Yeah, he thinks the Espionage Act is that was so 100 years ago. We should get rid of the Espionage Act.
Wouldn't that mean they pardoned Snowden?
I don't know.
I don't remember why.
They don't think past the low-hanging fruit talking point.
They do, though, because they got Roe v. Wade overturned. That was like a 50-year effort.
Well, those guys, yeah, but I'm talking about the kook jobs, the Mitch McConnells and stuff who were Mitch McConnell had been laying in wait for Roe versus Wade for 60 years, and he had been doing everything he could. These Yahoo, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, who was the guy who ran away during January. These guys are all just looking for attention. They're not looking for long-term change. They don't care how they actually govern. They just want to be notorious. Notorious. Threw a little music in there for you. So that's my take.
Well, were you not entertained? Like, did it make your day when
I loved it? I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if anything's going to come of this, but I will say, I can't see the Justice Department doing this just to do it. I know there's a lot of chicanery. I choose to believe that when it comes down to the law, somebody is out there that's actually trying to enforce the law and realizing that there are people who think they can do whatever they want because they have power or money or whatever. And they say, no, I don't think so. The law is the law. Whether you're, ideally, whether you're some guy who works at the gas station or whether you're the president of the United States. Now, I also know that that's not how it really works. But I think if we can show the vast majority of Americans that, yeah, people in power can be held accountable, then it might go a long way for people to start, believing in changes being made and stuff like that. And I know that's a naive take, but I'll take it. I'm putting it out there. I choose to believe that this is not, it's too high a pitch for it not to be thought out. They weren't just going to do this. This has been ongoing. And today, according to legal experts, air quotes around legal experts, they're saying the reason they asked not to unseal the affidavit is because that shows that there is a grand jury in play now. So
what's so grand about him, Brian?
Well, they put out indictments, Cody. This is your civics lesson for the day. Josh Hawley. Yeah, that's it, Marta. Thank you. Josh Hawley. So there's my political chunk for the night. I wanted to see. I figured that one I knew you couldn't have escaped that one. There's other things you could escape, but I think a former president's pseudo empire being knocked on by federal authorities to serve a search warrant. Hello. That's big news.
It was there. I will say it didn't dominate Twitter that day. At least my feed. Well, but then again,
but your feed has everything blocked except cat videos and stuff about podcasts.
Not true. My Twitter trending topics feed, like if I open my Twitter search app and I hit the search bar, check this out. This is what I see. You see that?
That's a foreign language up top. And then a string of numbers.
All of them are foreign languages, except for a couple. So it's
Do you speak any of those languages?
No, I set my location to look for only trending in Japan. And here's what's so beautiful about that, Brian.
Yeah.
Not only do I only get Japanese headlines I can't read, so I don't know what any of this says at all.
Right.
Maybe there's a picture. It doesn't mean anything to me. But the only thing that trends in English in Japan is what, Brian?
Trump?
Actually, two things. No, two things trend nationwide in Japan with English language tweets. Two topics.
Pokemon and wrestling.
One topic is video games, and the other topic is professional wrestling.
All right, I got one of the two.
So Money
I
in the
almost
Bank.
got two of the two.
Money in the Bank is trending. That is a WWE event. And so I get to read a bunch of tweets about Money in the Bank in English.
When is that happening?
I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know
Okay.
anything about it. I'm not going to tap it. But Kenny Dykstra is trending. He was a pro wrestler
Really?
for some time, and apparently he's back. Maybe ? And Darth Vader's trending. Don't know why.
In
but
Japan?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Dude, it's literally the perfect. It's literally the perfect Twitter feed for me.
That sounds nice.
I know. No, yes, I do see. Now, the algorithms know there's a big event, right? Like there's
Right.
like after Uvalde, let's say, for example, every American was tweeting about it. So my whole feed was dominated by that, right? So like
Yes.
if it's that big of a news story, but for my feed, the Mar-a-Lago raid a few tweets, and I even
Mhm.
it wasn't because I don't think about any of that often. So I
Sure.
actually it took me a few passes before I realized like what is Mar-a-Lago. At first, I thought it was some like beer distillery or something,
Ooh,
and then
that
after a
sounds
while,
good.
I was like, wait, no, it's a thing in Florida. No, actually, I got it mixed up with Guantanamo because they sound the same. It was because I was like, okay, Mar-a-Lago
both
raided.
ended,
Oh,
yeah,
they raided a
Mar-a-Lago,
prison that
Guantanamo.
we run. Okay, that's weird. And then I had to because Mar-a-Lago and Guantanamo, Guantanamo, if you kind of slur your words with the Mar-a-Lago, they end in O and they have 4 syllables.
So do SpaghettiOs.
Well, if they
Mar-a-Lago,
had
Spaghetti-O.
raided SpaghettiOs, I would have been just as engaged.
See, I would have been shocked. What about Olivia Newton-John? Did she trend in Japan?
No, I heard about that though, somehow.
How could you not? I know you don't follow much social media, but oh my God, you would have thought everybody on Facebook had an intimate relationship with Olivia Newton-John. Everybody on Facebook and Twitter.
Dude.
Everybody had a story about Olivia Newton-John.
Based on the number of times my sister watched Grease when I was growing up, when I was playing video games in the next room, yeah, I'd say that I know somebody that had a close relationship.
Well, you had a close relationship when Sandy went bad in her black leather pants.
Yeah, it was on a night like this, in fact.
Really?
Just another summer night.
Very nice.
Anyway,
Very
tell me
good.
more, Brian. Tell me more.
I won't put up a fight.
I don't know any of the other words.
I don't know.
So if we're gonna have a lyric off, that's about where we're at. Did he put up a fight? Something, keep you up all night. Very sexual musical for something my sister was watching when she was like 10.
Yes, and I know this has been said a million times, but it's hard to believe people who are 40 and 50 playing high schoolers.
No, it's not.
That cast was aged. That was almost like they were in a nursing home having flashbacks to high school of their current selves. They were sitting around some sort of dementia ward in 1957, or, well, it would have been later, I guess, in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, and they were trying to remember high school, but they could only remember them in their aged form, and, beauty school dropout, 50 in the movie. Kanicki was applying for VA benefits. John Travolta running around the track with his big pompadour, hoping his knees didn't give out because he just had replacement surgery. Horrifying. I remember Olivia Newton-John in Grease, and I remember, Let's Get Physical. That was the, and yeah, I think that was it. I didn't pay a lot of, I knew who she was. I was aware that she was a big star, but I was not a big Olivia Newton-John guy. So I didn't post a picture. Even though I had FOMO of not being involved in the tributes to Olivia Newton-John. I also didn't have a story about Anne Heche.
I don't know who that is.
That was Ellen's first girlfriend when she came out. Anne Heche is an actress.
Did she die?
She drove her car into a house in California. Both the house and the car burst into flames, and they took her off life support Sunday.
Oh,
yesterday.
That's sad.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. But she was an actress. Took a bad rap. Everybody said she was kind of crazy, but she's a good actress. You know,
I've heard Ellen's kind of crazy.
I've got secondhand information. She's not a nice lady, but that's all alleged. I don't know.
On Reddit, there are entire threads dedicated to how much of an a-hole Ellen is. Like, apparently she's just like the first thing that you learn, like 2 things when you move to LA. Like, one is you don't need an umbrella, and number 2 is Ellen's an asshole. Yeah. Like, people say she's one of the worst human beings, like, on the West Coast. I don't remember any of the stories, but I've read many Reddit threads where people just post laundry lists of stories, personal stories, clips of her being rude to people, like just like heinous, awkward, awful, terrible human being kind of stuff.
Well, Molly worked on the same lot where Ellen was taped, and she got to know some of the interns from Ellen's show. She did not work on Ellen's show, but let's just say all the things you just said were echoed to Molly from firsthand accounts. Man, of just being awful. But man, she'd come out on stage and sugar wouldn't melt in her mouth. She was sweet as pie. They're all lying to you. Everybody's lying to you.
Wonder what she's got in her safe in Guantanamo.
I don't know. I hope it's SpaghettiOs. I used to eat SpaghettiOs with meatballs like they had the cure to every disease. I loved them. I didn't care. I didn't know what those meatballs were made of. They could have been raccoon eyeballs, because sometimes they'd have a little like a bubble of gristle or something on them. I didn't care, man. When I was making $168 a week working radio in Sparta, some Wonder Bread and SpaghettiOs, I was living large, brother.
Have you had so wait, you've had him because I tried him as an adult, like, right, because I got a kid now. So we go back to the classics, get some of the Eggo thick and fluffy waffles. Delicious.
Sound good.
Try a couple Pop-Tarts. I was like, nope, these don't hold up.
Au contraire. You are high on smack. Pop-Tarts rule. Did you toast it or did you eat it cold?
Of course. Who eats it cold? I'm not a savage.
Well, there are a lot of savages. You see them buying Pop-Tarts at like 7-Eleven and just eating them out in the parking lot. Like they're rabid gophers. I'm like, no, that's horrifying. You gotta toast them up.
I may be misremembering. The Pop-Tarts may hold up, but the SpaghettiOs, I had some and I was like, ugh, what is this?
I have not had SpaghettiOs probably in over 20 years. So my recollection is all colored by nostalgia and the fact that it plays into my look how much I struggled narrative, making $168 a week doing radio, 14 days on, 2 days off, or no, 12 days on, 2 days off.
Yeah.
I was at days to the calendar. That's how much I struggled, Cody. They added 2 extra days to the calendar every month just so I could keep working. And that would be in my $200 a month furnished apartment. Because I was living large and in charge.
Dude, I get it. I used to do improv.
And then what? You wised up?
No, I was around a lot of people who didn't have money, same as me. Next week, I'm basically going to be reliving my improv days at what I anticipate may be the most annoying conference I ever go to.
Oh, the podcast conference. Where we're gonna get Mark Cuban to come on here and tell us about chicken salad.
Oh, that's right. I got to book Mark Cuban. No, so next week is the largest podcast conference in the country, podcast movement.
Okay.
I've not been since 2016 or 2017. It was in Chicago 6 or 7 years ago, or 5 to 7 years ago. Anyway, it's in Dallas. I'm gonna go. It'll be great. But a few years ago, Brian, you could start to buy a virtual ticket
to podcast movement.
Yeah, because they would live stream the keynotes and the panel discussion.
Okay.
So, you could do whatever, $100, you get the live stream. Okay, cool. So I did that, and Like, when I went, I actually made some really good connections there. There were some cool people, interesting, some nice networking, as it were, you know. And then I'm not going to podcast from there. Sorry, Marta. No, actually, I'm taking next week off because I'll
Right.
be traveling. I'm flying next Monday at this time, so into the wee
So it's
hours.
in Dallas. You're going to fly to what? Anchorage first,
I was going
and
to
then have a
LA.
layover in Anchorage, and then head
Well,
down.
I've never been to Hawaii, so I figured now's why not?
And yeah, and you know what? A lot of people will tell you should get out of the airport to really enjoy Hawaii. I don't think that's true. I
No.
think from the airport, somebody will give you a lei, boom, tss, and then you can have a nice, you can have some fresh pineapple, get back on the plane, and you're off.
And if they got a Taco Bell, I could make my own volcano.
All right. So next week, now see here, I know that you are going to podcast movement, and you know why you had a good time and made connections and things? Because you're a professional.
Mm.
Because it's your job. You know that podcasts are uh, a viable piece of the media landscape,
Mhm.
and not just a money grab or a place to sell coffee mugs.
That's that too.
Well, I know that's that, but you don't. You're going for professional reasons.
No, but what I was going to say is, so the live streams, right? Like I
Yes.
said, I had a great experience. Actually, when I went, the keynote was Kevin Smith.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
it was really fun. He talked a lot because he's been podcasting since like 2006 or something crazy long like that.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He was great. The keynote was very funny. Obviously, he just monologued and just told a bunch of crazy stories. But so I started watching this live stream a couple years ago, and like people's outfits got more and more outrageous.
Like cosplay?
Yeah, just wearing weird clothes, like looking really slovenly. Like they wear a pair of boat shoes and then like capris, but then like a top would be like a tuxedo top with like a bow tie and then like a weird fedora, like just weird, like try hard attention horror kind of behavior. And I'm just
Thirsty
like,
Thursday.
I'm like, please don't let that be the majority. Because, like, if you go to a party with a bunch of improvisers, they're so annoying because
Yep.
everything they say has to be a joke. And now I'm like, oh God, it's a bunch of podcasts. Like, I would hang out with a bunch of radio people because you and radio people know how to talk to people really well. You can be very engaging. Podcasting is like an unregulated version of radio where any idiot can do it, and they think that they can do it well when they really can't. So
Yeah.
they just like, it's just going to be the like, "Brr, brr, 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 I'm the blah, blah, blah show. If you listen to my podcast, 2 cabinets. Oh, I open one cabinet and I pull out an apple. And then I open the other cabinet and I pull out a shotgun. And then I load it up and blow it up my ass. And I
Hold
make
on,
jokes
I'm writing
about
this
it.
down. If you could talk slower, because as we talked about, we're going to be discussing some structure later, and I like the two cabinet idea may actually work for us. It's like the cabinet of Dr. Calgary or Calgon. Take me away.
Kilroy.
Whatever. Kilroy was here,
Mhm.
but then he left. He didn't want to put up with our shenanigans.
Wow.
He was here. Actually, I knew he was here only because I looked over and I saw his fingertips and his nose over the edge of the door. And I was like, Kilroy, is that you? And I heard he's very tiny. He's almost like a gnome. And I heard his feet take off down the stairs. It was weird. Gidget started barking. Lawson didn't care. He just slept there. But Debbie was like, something with long fingers and a big nose just ran by. Could have been an opossum. Could have been a rat. Could have been Kilroy. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to try to get Mark Cuban booked for our show is the point. I'm sure I'm looking forward to it generally, but occasionally, like, I don't know, the after parties, it's just like, all right, what kind of characters are going to show up there?
Dude, you're going to come back with so many stories.
I know.
And hopefully
so, yeah.
some sponsors.
2 weeks, in 2 weeks, our episode's going to be lit because I'm going to need a drink during it, but no, I'm going to see my CEO will be there. The company I work with, he's on a panel with some really notable podcast people. And some other guy from my company will be there, so it'll be pretty chill.
Do they pay? Do guys like Mark Maron and Joe Rogan and Jimmy Pardo's got a big pot, and other people like that come, or is it more corporations who are either in the podcast sphere or launching podcasts, and then everybody who talks from their basement and really, really wants to be the next Joe Rogan or Mark Maron.
Well, that's why it's kind of a weird. The conference kind of gets a bad rap sometimes because anyone can podcast, but everyone is podcasting. Like they have sessions for people that like, how do you get your first 3 episodes published? And then they have, sessions for like, great, you have 30,000 listeners. How do you monetize?
Right.
And so like, if you're not good at navigating the conference and the descriptions aren't specific enough, then you end up like just wasting time. Right.
Right.
I think it'll be a good use of my time. And then there's vendors. All the vendors are there, like you remote recording with this software, edit with this software, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So a little bit of everything, which I do like that. But it's hard to make a case for people like me as podcasters to like, hey, I need to go to podcast movement because professional development and networking wise, you got to know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So
you don't want to spend 3 hours talking to some guy who's blowing smoke up your ass because he's lying to you that he's got a big podcast and you haven't had time to look it up yet and go, you've got 4 listeners. That can't be good.
Right.
That's not right. No, you want to talk to Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Who else? What other big names are going to be there?
Well,
that you should target in my warped mind that you'll be able to land.
Well, Paris Hilton is DJing one of the after parties.
If you don't get a selfie with Paris Hilton, I will be wildly disappointed.
Okay.
And if you don't ask her to be on the show, and she'll say, "What kind of show is it?" We don't know, but come on, you'll have fun. Get some chicken salad. We'll FedEx some chicken salad to you before the show.
I will literally go up to Paris Hilton and say, I do a podcast where we FedEx chicken salad to people and ask them to rate it. Do you want to be on it? And I want to see what she says. I'm going to do it, Brian. I swear to God, if I get to talk to Paris Hilton, I will tell her that I do a podcast where we FedEx chicken. But then if I do that, you have to drive down and get the chicken salad.
Oh, I will order. I will make sure that she gets the chicken salad, and we call it Chick-Liberty chicken salad, something like that. Chicken salad judging, or we'll come up with a catchy name for it.
Okay,
and that's part of the new structure where we where I go broke FedExing chicken salad to celebrities for no reason. And not getting anything from the place that I'm actually ordering the chicken salad from.
No,
we never say where it's from because then that's free advertising. If they want to sponsor it, then hey, who would, if I'm a business person and I sell chicken salad and I have some Yahoo like me come down and go, listen, here's the deal. We've booked Mark Cuban, Paris Hilton, some wrestler. Maybe we get Roman Reigns. Or he's gonna eat some chicken salad. Maybe maybe we reach out, we get a couple pro athletes, maybe another actor type, and they're gonna eat chicken salad, and they're just gonna they're gonna tell us if they like chicken salad or not.
All right,
I haven't thought out the bit yet, but but wouldn't you, as a business person, go, "What? Paris Hilton's gonna eat my chicken salad? I've got to sponsor this bit."
I mean, I would if I had a lot of money that I didn't care about what happened to it.
You got a lot of chicken salad money. This is a huge chain.
Yeah. Look, we wouldn't do it for nothing. We would do it for the lulls.
Right. Oh, we got to get the lulls.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to get the lulls and the clips on YouTube. And then that leads to more liking and following. And suddenly we're that hot wing podcast where they just have people on and eat hot wings.
Amazing.
Yep. Except right now, somebody's listening and taking our idea.
What topic? At the start of this episode, I meant to be like, we should preview what we're talking about. I've got Martha's Vineyard and we'll probably Mar-a-Lago. What do you got? And then just fell apart. I got a beer. We talked about chicken salad.
We did.
I texted Paris Hilton. It's a lot happened.
Well, one of my things was talking about the people threatening law enforcement over the Trump warrant. We talked about that. That was a big deal. I have 6 hours for a hamburger.
What?
Squirrel yelling on a fence. And I'm already panicking about something and starting a new regime started today. So I
All
have a
right,
number of
ooh.
things. Where would you
Let's
like to go?
panic. Let's panic.
All right. So we're going to Ireland in a little over a month,
Right.
right? A month. So I'm already panicked about what I'm going to pack because one, the cars are very small, so you can't take big suitcases. Two, you can only, your checked bag can only be a certain size. You get a carry-on, so I got a backpack where I'm going to have my toothbrush, a couple things, maybe an extra shirt. But I'm not taking a computer or anything because that's too big and bulky. So I'm good with what I'm carrying on to the plane. But then I'm like, what am I going to take to wear? What do I need to have? I don't want to take too much, but I always overpack. So I've already driving myself crazy. Do I use packing cubes? Do I just roll stuff up real tight and lay it in the suitcase? Do I do a run through and lay everything out that I want to take like a week before and then start weeding things out as I go? But then I'm going to end up going with 2 pairs of underwear, 1 pair of socks, and my SIU sweatshirt. And that's not going to look good over there. I don't even know what kind of pants I'm going to wear. But I have decided on the plane, I'm going to be that guy in sweatpants. I've got to fly overnight and try to sleep. So I want to be comfy. But this is all weighing on my mind. And we leave a month from Saturday. We leave the 20th of September. So I'm losing my mind.
What's left of it anyway? Tell me, how do you
True.
dress on airplanes? How are you going to dress for this international flight? Suit and tie?
No.
Hat?
Normally I would wear, jeans or some khakis and, a comfy shirt. But I was thinking, we're in, Cody, I'm in coach. I don't have the scratch to fly business. I'd rather spend my money over there with my people than give it to an airline. So I was like, I have some sweats that they got a little fleece lining in them. They're very comfortable. So I think I'm going to wear those. And I'm taking 2 pairs of shoes. So I'll be wearing one of the pairs on the plane. And I'll wear, a sweatshirt or something. And I don't care anymore. I've seen how people go out in public. Have you been to a Walmart anytime recently? Or anywhere?
Why would I do that?
To save money? Because you like a good price rollback?
That's another conversation. We'll get there. We'll get there after this. Continue.
Okay. All right. No, that's just it. So I've already started worrying, and I brought it up to Debbie, and she just shook her head. Because today I made a pledge that I'm going to walk now every day until we go. Because my hand is feeling a little better, and my foot's all healed. So now I'm going to walk every day before we go to Ireland, so that I will be able to walk when we're in Ireland. Because every time I climb the stairs, I'm like, oh my God, when I get to Blarney Castle, I got to go up this curvy stone narrow staircase. So I have to have some semblance of wind to be able to get up that staircase. Because nobody's going to want to drag me back down, be mocked by tourists and native Irishmen because I had a seizure or I seized up on my way up to kiss the Blarney Stone, which technically I don't need because I already have the gift of gab. But think how good I'm going to sound when I get back.
Dude, and after all that Guinness, how much time did you budget for the Blarney Stone?
We're going to try to get there first thing in the AM because the night before we're staying about a half hour away. So we are planning on being at the Blarney Castle pretty early.
And spending how much time?
We'll walk up and kiss the stone first, and then look around the grounds a little. But as I said, and this is horrible, but after our international travel, because Cody, I'm a man of the world,
right?
I've been transatlantic numerous times. By numerous, I mean 2.
Wow, very progressive.
Listen. I embrace other cultures. I endlessly compare them to ours. I find them to be superior in a lot of ways. I've seen enough castles and cathedrals to last me a lifetime, and museums, quite frankly. I will go to one cathedral in Ireland. I'm not sure which one. Maybe St. Patrick's in Dublin, maybe one along the way. I think 2 castles are a possibility on the agenda. One is Blarney Castle, and the other is Bunratty Castle. And Bunratty Castle is on our way to Galway, and the original Dirty Nellie's pub, which has been open for over 100 years, is right at the base of Bunratty Castle. So I will see the castles, but I'm guessing they're not very different. Maybe the grounds around the castle are a little bit different. I could be way off, and I may end up regretting this decision, but that's how I feel about the castles. As far as museums, seen enough. Don't need to go. We're going to Spike Island, which is kind of a museum. It's a prison. I will talk to people and learn things that, we are going. I shouldn't say that. We're going to see the Book of Kells at Trinity College. So we'll be walking through. That's kind of a museum. There is a leprechaun museum right by our hotel that who knows? Maybe I get a couple pints in me and I decide, you know what? I'm going to make an amendment to my museum rule and go to the leprechaun museum. We are going to Giant's Causeway, Mike. That's mostly amazing. Rocks. All right. Cliffs and things.
Couple notes about the castles. All right. Blarney Castle, from my recollection, you don't go into. It's like small and outside. And the Blarney Stone itself is outside, right? So you climb up like a stairs of a half castle, like ruins, and you kiss the thing, and then you're done. It's not a big deal. But Bunratty also looks very small.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're tiny.
They're very tiny. So dude, I did a castle tour in Germany in 2017. Now, granted, every castle, not a real castle. They were all just castle replicas built by Prussian princes in the mid to late 1800s. I'm not even kidding. Like, they were all like, oh, that's 150 years old. We're like, wait, what? Nothing.
Did you bring that up? Did you complain the entire time? This is not a real castle.
No, they were faux castles. It was crazy. So these are real ones, but they're lame. Like,
they were the McMansions of castles.
Right. No, these are lame in scope, right? They're small. You can go see them in an hour. The reason I initially asked about the Blarney Castle is that when we went, I only budgeted a few hours. I went in 2007 with a girl I was seeing at the time.
That's right.
I guess. And we budgeted like an hour for Blarney Castle, but there's a whole grounds. So like, you go,
I've heard the grounds are beautiful.
Yeah, there's like 12 different little points in this big kind of park area that you kind of go to. And so I think probably the morning, if you take like the full morning, maybe like leave around like 1 or 2, you should have had a chance. You walk around, do the whole thing, have lunch, then go, but make it more leisure. Like, don't make it like go kiss the stone and leave, because I think you'll miss out. Like, I wish I had spent a little more time there.
Okay. Good advice.
You don't have to be all morning, but I think that's probably what'll happen, right? Few hours there, grab lunch while you're on site, and then head out. So.
Well, and that's Saturday morning, and from Blarney Castle to Charleville is only about a half hour too. So we're going to get to Charleville, which is right next to Milford, where my family is. And that's where we're staying for a couple nights. So we're not doing a lot of driving. So we do have time to, whenever we decide, but we didn't schedule anything else, I guess was my point. We're doing Blarney Castle, then we're going to Charleville, then we'll be in Milford, hugging family and, sitting in the pub where my family is known to have had a couple, learning about things, seeing stories, maybe getting does Fitzwilliam need a Hurley outfit, a Hurley uniform and a Hurley stick?
What's a Hurley uniform?
Hurley is a game over there. It's kind of like lacrosse. It's played with a stick that kind of has a paddle on the end of it and a ball that's wrapped in a couple leather strips. And my cousins are the premier Hurley manufacturers in Ireland.
What? Really?
McAuliffe Hurleys, yes.
Dude, I would take a Hurley stick.
Hurley stick. They are known worldwide. Yes.
Nice.
So
next question.
Yes.
It's gone.
All right. Did it have something to do with whiskey?
No, my body has something to do with whiskey right now with that coconut death. Am I right? No,
yes,
no, continue.
All right, so that's it. So that's what I'm panicking about. Worried about the trip, worried about panicking and doing the walking, getting prepared. My entire life now is based on not getting hurt or sick between now and the 20th of September.
Right.
That is my entire goal.
Now,
that's it.
Well, except for when you watch my son for a weekend. But
Right.
we've all
But that's my
already
goal
had
is also not to get sick when he's here.
we've all the 3 of us have had COVID in the last month, so I don't think you're going to get it from him.
Debbie is adamant that we had it when we came back from Mardi Gras, not
Hmm.
like right when the world was closing, when nobody knew what COVID was. She's like, because we all got sick after we came back from Mardi Gras.
Mhm.
I don't recall that, but could be. But yeah, no, he's fine. And if he gets, if I feel that he's germy, if his nose is running and there's a productive cough, I will quarantine him up in the bedroom with a couple bow wows and Peppa Pig or Thomas the Tank Engine, and he'll just, that's that.
Or
We'll feed him.
make him sleep outside. You can just set the eggs and toast out on the plate.
No, I don't want to do that. Eggs and toast get cold outside. Plus, we have possums coming in our backyard and squirrels. And
Possums are friendly.
are they
I was
to a
looking at
toddler
I was
who's
looking at
asleep
my
under the table?
I was looking at my calendar. So I had COVID a month ago today is when I got really bad.
Yes.
I still have a sore throat and a little bit of a light cough.
Oh, Jesus.
Pretty annoying. Hey, I
Yeah.
asked about the plane because
Oh,
if you're gonna wear pants, that will prevent you from joining the Mile High Club. And let me tell you,
did
a
you do it?
flight to Ireland is a very good excuse, sometimes a very good opportunity to do that.
And you
So
would know this how?
I just I read Wikipedia once.
Well, here's my issue. If I'm not wearing pants, they probably won't let me on the plane.
Right.
If I stroll up to TSA with a rager going, it's time to go to Ireland. Look at my shillelagh. Who's got Blarney Stones? That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna find your pot of gold, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not gonna let me on the plane right now. Debbie might not let me out of this room. So how do I get it? How do I get around it? I'm wearing drawstring sweats. That seems pretty easy.
That's good enough. When my wife told me that the Atlantic recently had an article about our lowering standards of clothing on planes.
Yes, it's horrible.
It
And
is.
I'm about to give into it.
You walk into the airport and it's all yoga pants at best. All the just slovenliness, the flip flops, the blah blah blah. Now I'm TSA pre-check, so I wear closed-toed shoes because I don't have
Yeah,
to take them off like a peasant.
I am as well.
Yeah,
We got our,
dude.
did I tell you we got our global entry
You
cards?
global, oh, let's go.
Yeah,
What are you
man.
entering? You're
Boom,
entering
I'm
Ireland?
entering the entire globe, baby.
Wow.
The globe is bending over and I am entering.
Consensually, I don't want to get canceled.
Oh, I'm not going to get canceled by the globe. I'm going to give it a nice reach around. Maybe I reach over to Germany, Pakistan, give it all a nice little hello. How are you?
Why are you reaching it? Well,
Well, because if I'm bent over Ireland, my arm is pretty long. So thinking of a globe.
What? I got nothing. Man, you know what I gotta say?
What?
Southwest, no electrical outlets on their planes.
Right.
They announced plans to start to roll it out to some of their fleet in 2023. But Brian, I was playing Hades on my Nintendo Switch. Excellent game, tremendous. Check it out. And I had 3 USB power banks. And I kind of charged them on the way to the airport, and then I kind of charged them there. But they did not last me the whole first trip. And then they did not last me the whole second trip. Very upsetting on the way home. I got to say, I got to give the edge when it comes to booking flights to whichever airline has electrical outlets.
I think we're flying Aer Lingus, and I think they do. I've been looking at that too. I downloaded the entertainment app already because you can sync your phone to the screen behind the seat, and I got my wireless Beats that I'm ready to go. So I don't know. I think they do have. I think they do have outlets again because of course, I'm worried about that too because I think the only time I was we were flying down to Puerto Rico. This was the summer before Molly went to college. And the big push, I forget what airline. It might have been, it wasn't Spirit. might have been JetBlue. I don't know who it was. Doesn't matter. There was like, oh, we have every seat has a video screen behind it, and you can watch and make on both flights. Our 3 screens were the only ones that didn't work.
Oh no.
So I'm looking at every other row, and everybody's watching something on their little screen, and I'm like, God. And I know that's first world problems, but I paid first world prices for the flight. So I expected the first world service that came with my first world money.
What is your preferred airplane activity?
Sleeping, followed closely by some sort of watching some sort of video.
Okay.
So on a long, here's what I'm hoping happens. That I think we leave, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night. We fly through the night. That I get a couple, I find something that's going to help me sleep, Tylenol PM or something. And after a couple hours, maybe I watch one movie and then I fall asleep. Then I wake up in Ireland. That's the goal.
Mm.
And also, if I can if it's at all possible for me not to have to use the restroom for 8 hours, that would be another goal. Because that's my least favorite activity on a plane.
Bathroom?
Because as you know, you being a tall man, bathrooms are not built for tall men.
No, you can't stand up.
You can't stand up straight. And I have a hard time being Ichabod Crane when I'm making water, Miss Daisy.
No, overnight though, if it's an overseas flight, it's going to be a bigger plane, right?
I would hope so. I'm not flying a twin prop. I'm not Charles Lindbergh.
You'll have a little bit of extra room.
All right. I don't know. We're flying steerage because that was the best price.
You're flying on a horse?
No, not steerage. We're underneath with the river. It's an old term. That's how that's like on the Titanic where Leonardo DiCaprio's character sailed on the Titanic down in the very bottom with the unwashed.
Where he painted the naked picture in the car?
Yeah, but no, not a car, but somehow he got to come out of steerage and he met a woman who took her top off for him.
Does it count as joining the Mile High Club if you just paint a picture of someone naked?
No, did you do both?
I did. That's what I did on the flight to Ireland. I painted.
You had an easel? You brought a big. Did you have one of those pallets and a beret? And you were like,
It was an empty flight. You got to remember, this is 15 years ago. This is pre 9/11. It was post 9/11, but it was post 9/11, pre-pandemic, right? Am I right? So
yes.
I had an easel.
I guess you're right.
Artist easel. There was an empty row. She laid on it, nude, as they called it back in the day. And I put it out and I took a bunch of colored pencils and I just drew a big smiley face and circled it. But I consider that a nude portrait in its own right.
Did you draw the big smiley face and then just a couple little boobies underneath?
No,
it?
just the smiley face.
Just the smiley face. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's an artistic choice, and I'm glad you made it. That's your vision. That's your art. Who are we? We can't judge your vision. That's how you saw it.
Art is what makes us feel.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah, sure it is. I'm going to be in country, Sandy, for 9 days. Going to be on the island
now
for 9 days.
I was gonna ask you something else, but it's gone.
I hope it's a scintillating question. I'd love to be grilled.
Non-full Aer Lingus overnight flights where no one is watching what you're doing are probably the best flights you can take.
All right.
Do you have?
Did you do it?
So
if you were going to do it, did you do it right in your seats?
Yep. Now, what I would do with when I got on a plane, because I asked what you do on a plane because some people read, right? You do not read. You sleep or watch a video. So I don't watch videos on planes. I'm not gonna, because I flew on a plane and they were showing the new Spider-Man movie, and I'm like, that's great. But it's the new Spider-Man. I'm not going to watch it on an 8-inch screen like an idiot. What is wrong with you? So I am a Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch exists for me to fly. I literally, the second I sit down, I pull out my Switch and I play it like a drug. I can't do anything else anymore. Now, I will read. I have read. Sometimes that happens. On the way back from Europe, the last time I came back from Europe, I finished reading A Dance with Dragons, book 5 in the Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire series. So I tore through 200 pages of that. But normally I'm a Switch guy. So that I was just curious kind of, now what does your wife do? Is she the same? Watch a video? Or
no,
sleep?
she will. She likes to read. Here's the thing. I, I always have a book with me because I have the intention of reading.
Mm.
And sometimes I have read a little bit. Um, but I'm always uncomfortable on a plane. Even when I lost the weight, I was uncomfortable on a plane. Not that I'm afraid, I'm just physically, because my legs are hitting the back and I feel crammed in. And then I regret career choices because I can't afford business class.
Nobody
So,
can. Nobody
so
can, but the businesses.
I know, but so I try not to do anything that's going to take any sort of motion, including opening a book and turning pages, or trying to slide. So I try not to have anything under my feet because my size 15s need all that room to get under the seat in front of me. So I like to get in, hunker down, and never move. And it's easy to do that if you're watching a movie. I even hesitate when they bring the meals and stuff because I'm like, oh, I got to move. I got to pull the tray down, and then I got to try to cut. And there's people, but I think Debbie and I are in a row where it's just the two of us.
Nice.
So I think that'll be better because I don't mind bumping into Debbie or elbowing her while I'm trying to eat my rubbery chicken that Aer Lingus is going to serve me. So that doesn't bother me. To answer your question, she'll read and then she watches stuff too and sleeps.
Okay, what's your take? What is your go-to beverage of choice?
Oh, that's a good question because it changes based on the flights. Sometimes if I'm flying down to New Orleans, I will have a cocktail. Sometimes I won't have anything because I don't want to get up and have to go to the bathroom. So I have everything from ginger ale to water to a beer or a cocktail.
Okay.
Depending on where we're going, how long the flight is. Do we have a stack of Southwest cocktail coupons? Probably. Then on those flights, I'll have a beer or two on the way down because the flight's only 2 hours and I know I can make it to the bathroom. I know where the bathrooms are the minute I get off the plane in New Orleans.
Well, I asked because in retrospect, I never flew anywhere with any of my ex-girlfriends until my wife. She's the only woman partner I've ever actually flown with, I think.
Well, you just told us about the Ireland trip where you joined the Mile High Club. Did you do it by yourself? I don't think that counts.
That was once, and we only flew on the way there.
How'd you get home? Swim?
I walked.
Kayak?
I walked.
You walked from Ireland?
Yeah.
If you could walk 1,000 miles, and
Russia
you would
has
walk 1,000 miles.
Russia has a land bridge,
Sure, but Ireland's on the other side of a continent.
It's an
island.
Very long walk.
Okay. I'm just fact checking. I know how you love a little fake news.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Big fan of that right now. But anyway, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but every single time I have flown with my wife, every time for 5-6 years, we're talking at least 20 round trip flights, right? Many flights, every time without fail, Bloody Mary mix.
Just the mix?
Just the mix. Every time. And
does she drink that at home?
No, never. I've never seen her drink that except for on planes. It's just her plain drink. So I find that interesting. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I always have a sip. It's always really tasty. It's frankly a really good idea because it's like kind of healthy-ish. It's like, got some veggies.
Oh, it's better than just regular tomato juice. It's got some spice to it, a little zing. Yeah.
It tastes great. It's not a soft drink, so you're not just drinking high fructose corn syrup exclusively. Like it's a great
She doesn't
idea.
go with, she doesn't add anything to it, huh? No vodka in there?
No. I've never heard her order anything other than Bloody Mary mix. It's very consistent. It's extraordinary. Now,
what would happen if you came home from the grocery store tomorrow with a bottle of Bloody Mary mix?
I wouldn't do it.
I know how much you love this.
No, I wouldn't do it. It seems like a flight. Look, like I said, I'm the same way with my Nintendo Switch on a flight. That's like I sit down and I'm like, I love you, but you are no longer a part of my life. This Nintendo Switch, I'm playing Hades, and it's such a good game. It was like game of the year from every outlet in 2020. I want to say 2019, maybe. It's so good, Brian.
And then I'll talk to you when the wheels are down.
Yes, I put my headphones on and play Hades until literally my battery dies, and I have like 3 backup USB battery packs. 3, not 1, not 2, 3 backup charger packs specifically for my Nintendo Switch to play whatever game I'm playing, which this weekend happened to be Hades, even though it's like a 3-year-old game. Unreal.
And it didn't, and the batteries didn't work. That's no good.
No, it was awful. It was tremendous. It was tremendously terrible.
So then were you forced to talk to your wife and have Bloody Mary mix?
No, we slept. But does your wife have a go-to? Is that unique? Throw it on the chat if you have someone you know that has what their like plain drink.
Debbie does not. I see her either have a Diet Coke. Every once in a while she'll have some sort of cocktail, maybe a beer or a wine, or I think one time she had maybe a rum and Diet Coke or something. But no, I'm for a guy who's as set in his ways as I am, you would think I would, but normally, or a lot of times I try to be either asleep or faking being asleep by the time the service comes around. Because if I fake being asleep, most people aren't going to wake me up. They're going to leave me. Debbie occasionally, even if I am truly sound asleep, will elbow me to wake me up. Because they're coming around with the Sky Pixies are bringing around the beverages. And she doesn't want me to miss a beverage from the Sky Pixies. bring me over one, Sky Pixie. But we've taken, now I would assume maybe this is an odd flight thing. Do you and your wife sit right next to each other?
Yeah.
All right, not us. We because we like a little elbow room. So on Southwest, we try to get in and we'll sit in the same aisle. Or we both sit on the aisle across the aisle from each other, which is basically next to each other. We can still talk, we can still do all that, but then she doesn't have to, neither one of us has to get the other one up to go to the bathroom if we want to go to the bathroom. But like I said, this time we're a two-seat aisle. So we're going to see how this works out.
See, my wife is tiny. Let's be honest.
Yeah, she's very tiny.
She's very compact and small.
She's almost as small as Kilroy. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
I've seen them both in person.
Right. And she's a window seat person.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Which means that I will sit in the middle seat to whatever deal. With
no.
No, but on the smaller planes, it works out great because she gets a window. I get the aisle. We're right next to each other. It's just fantastic.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why we started on Southwest, sitting window and aisle, and then praying that nobody sat in the middle. And sometimes we got lucky. A couple times we didn't. And after the times we didn't, that's when we came up with let's sit next to each other with just the aisle between us. And then we can lean over, we can hand each other stuff. We can do everything we would do if we were sitting right next to each other, but we're a little more, it's easier for her because she'll go to the bathroom more than I will. I love traveling once I get there. I love to be in other places.
Yes.
I can't get over how cool, like anywhere I go, I love being there. I hate getting there. So I try to time it where what time are they going to start opening the gates and seeing people? All right. Just a couple minutes before that, I will go for my final pre-flight bathroom visit and try to dehydrate. I'm taking salt tablets. I'm trying to dehydrate myself. So once I sit down, you're never going to see me move.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie doesn't mind. She gets up, goes down the aisle, goes to the bathroom. I don't care. That's her thing. Not me. I hate it. Hate it. Because when I finally do have to go, it never fails. There's somebody who goes in there and, God forbid they had like 3 burritos in the airport before they left. And it's a horror show when you finally get in there. Plus you can't stand outside and wait. So you have to time your run down the aisle perfectly. Because if they don't want you standing around, they don't want you congregating near the bathrooms. So you got to wait. And you watch, okay, somebody went in, now I'm going to watch. And the minute you hear that, the lock on the door, you got to be up and flying down the aisle. And God forbid that's when the Sky Pixies are out with their drinks, because then you're never getting to the bathroom.
Wow.
It's yeah. You see why I'm already worried about stuff? This is what my mind is like every day.
That's a lot. Well, if you need to borrow one to three USB portable battery chargers, I've got you hooked up.
I actually have some of those, and I may bring one with me for the airport or the airplane, but I don't think I'm gonna. And then in the car, I'm guessing that cars in Ireland have either USB ports or the cigarette style chargers.
Probably.
I would imagine we're not getting, Model Ts to drive around. So then I'll be able to plug my phone in the car.
Yeah.
And I've already purchased some adapters for the room. So I'm ready to go. The cicadas have stopped before the show. We were sitting downstairs right before dinner, and there was a squirrel. Have you ever heard a squirrel screaming?
No.
This squirrel was on our fence, just screaming. And I was like, what is that? Is a bird being mauled by a cat? It was just making like kind of sound. And Debbie looks, she goes, no, there's a squirrel sitting there. And he's obviously pissed off. He's just screaming and yelling. I don't know what was going on. So yeah, listen for one. Maybe one day you'll get lucky. You'll get to experience nature like I did.
I don't want that, but I will.
It's fun. I'm as old as I am. I had never heard a squirrel make any sort of noise. I knew they must squeak at some point. I didn't imagine them to be mute, but I did. I was shocked by this.
I've heard them make noise, and it's horrible, but not like a whatever you just said.
Mike's claiming it was a mating call, maybe, but squirrels know I play hard to get, Mike. I'm not going to you can't just, this isn't On the Waterfront or a Streetcar Named Desire where the squirrel's just outside my window screaming, Stella! And I'm going to run outside and go, oh, fuzzy tail, mount it up. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I know squirrel mating calls intimately well, and they're nothing like their screams.
What do they sound like? Do you know? Can you tell us a squirrel mating call?
That sounds like a one-way ticket to the Red Roof Inn Plus.
Wow.
Not the Red Roof Inn, but the Red Roof Inn Plus.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but it sounds fantastic.
There's one on the outskirts of Rockford. I presume it means that it's a Red Roof Inn designed for plus size tenants.
Oh, just a bunch of fatties at the Red Roof Inn. Hello. That's a one-night stand hotel for chubby chasers. I love it.
Oh, so it's a one-night sit because there's a lot of gravity.
It's a one-night plop. Just gotta...
Yeah.
Oh my.
I had to mute myself for a second. That took a dark turn. Wasn't there one other piece of news this week that was really a lot? Oh, there's the shooting at Six Flags. That's kind of a downer.
Yeah, that was last night. The people are okay. I saw on the news. They still have not caught the guy who did it. Yeah, there was the shooting at Six Flags. There's shootings. When isn't there a shooting?
I'm in Texas. I'm going to be in Texas next week. Do you know how hard it's going to be for me to not make fun of Texas the whole time I'm there?
How are you not? How are you not buying yourself a giant hat and then making fun of Texas?
I'm going to walk into the hotel when I check in. Here's your room key. You're in 1202. Okay, have a great stay. Great. So if your power goes out, do you have backup generators or does someone need to call Joe Biden? And then I'll just
So listen, I plan on impregnating someone. Where's the closest state line where they can get an abortion?
Jesus Christ. Oh, Texas. Yeehaw, we got oil. And so actually, I was talking to somebody at this wedding, and they were talking about how all the people they've met from Texas are very nice, and that Texans get a bad rap for their just horrifically bad government. And I was like, that's fair. It'd be if Brian, if 2 years ago you'd gone to Ireland, or let's say 3 years ago, your island trip was 3 years ago, and you went there and you landed, and someone was like, oh, you're an American, you're a piece of crap because Trump's your president. That, that's not fair because you hate him. And it's the same with Texas. So maybe a lot of people in Texas think it's BS. Gerrymandering is a thing.
It is. There's a lot wrong with Texas. There's a lot wrong with Illinois. But I've worked a lot in Texas, from El Paso to Dallas to Fort Worth to Houston. I've been to Amarillo, of course, to the Big Texan Steak Ranch numerous times. I've been to South Padre Island, crossed the border. I have always had fun with the citizens of Texas that I've met. Now, I'm probably not meeting the ultra right wing people who would support some of the things that goes on there, but I don't really, that's okay. So yeah, everybody in Texas and Dallas is a top-notch city. It's
Mm.
it's really, it's fancy. A lot of new money in Texas. Well, it was new money probably 30, 40 years ago. Oil money. Now I don't know what it is. But it was very nice in Dallas. I think I told you last week I liked Fort Worth better because it was a more old westy kind of feel.
Okay.
I've done Arlington, which is right in the middle of the Dallas Fort Worth metroplex. So it's a fine place as long
Yeah.
as you're not a woman or a minority or an immigrant.
Right.
Then it is a fine, fine place to be.
Now,
I've been in Austin too. Tried to go up to the tower where the shooting happened. Bless you. Oh my gosh.
thanks. I had myself on mute to save the audio listener. Marta bringing up a good point. What's the fastest route to the airport that gets me to Cancun if I need to get out of there fast? Yeah, it's like it's only 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Dallas to Cancun. So
You're going to love it. You're going to come back. San Antonio is nice. Mike, you're right. San Antonio along the Riverwalk, very nice.
yeah.
Cody's going to come back with some boots, some Lucchese boots and a big Resistol hat. Going to ride a horseback all the way back. You're going to like it. You're going to have fun.
No, it'll be good. No, I am big though on the like don't hate the player, hate the game kind of stuff. Like don't judge the people, judge the people in power. Like I particularly feel that with Russia. I think a lot of Russians like, oh, you're Russian, you shouldn't be able to enjoy like any basic
Oh
human
no, no, I'm with
courtesy.
you.
And I know you're with me, but just I want to put it out there. Like I think most Russians are probably just good people that just want. I mean, having traveled a lot, Istanbul, meeting my parents, like, very Muslim friends with a very different cultural background, like Istanbul, like all the people I've met abroad in Germany, everywhere.
Mhm.
Everyone in the world cares about the same stuff. They
Yeah,
care about their family and they care about making sure their kids have a nice life. And
right.
Russians are no different.
No.
Russian, like you and me Russian counterparts are not sitting around recording a podcast with each other being like, how do we blow up America? Like, no, they're just
I hope
hanging
not,
out.
because that's the worst Russian accent I've ever heard.
How I
If
blow
they
up
sounded like that.
America.
No, but you're right. And there were all kinds of reports when the invasion happened and Russia invaded Ukraine. There were tons of reports of, people, Russians protesting that. And, because you're right. Everybody wants the same thing. We want to be safe. We want to take care of our families. We want to be able to make a living. And we just want to, it's the people who get the attention are the ones who want all of that, but then they want to tell everybody else how to live. They're not content to just live on their own and go, hey, I got a pretty good life. I've got my struggles, but I got a place to live. My kids have food. They go to school. Every once in a while, we can go somewhere and relax maybe, or we just stay at home and relax, but things are okay. It's the people go, I've got all that too. But you know what? I don't want you to have this right. And I don't want you to be able to do this. And you need to pray to this God. And you need to, those are the people who get the attention because they're loud and stupid. And so unfortunately, the populace tends to get painted with that brush when everybody obviously doesn't deserve it. It's like when people go, all police are bad. Well, we know not all police are bad. We know there's some that are really bad. But there's a majority who just go to work every day and then they want to get home to their families. But those men and women don't get the attention because they're just doing what they're supposed to do. It's the ones who go so far the other way, or even enough to the other way that it gets the attention. And it's like, oh, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. It's those people. No, it's not.
Yeah.
People
People make the mistake of thinking that representative government is actually representative, and it's not. Not here. Not here. It's not.
Oh, not at all. Not when you look at every poll and every survey of certain issues, and the general population wants one thing, but the people in power, no, we're not. I know we're here to represent you and listen to you, but we've got our own agenda, and you're not a part of it. So just sit in your house, shut your mouth, and I'm gonna stay in power till I'm 107 years old, and I'm eating pudding and spitting on my voting button in the Senate, and that's the way it is, and you can't stop me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
worth
that.
noting the majority of Americans are pro-choice, and the majority of Americans, by a lot, are pro-marijuana legalization.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of those
And
things have happened.
in favor of sensible gun laws.
That's true. Yeah. So
You
many
know?
things that most Americans want that we're not going to get because our government sucks. But
There you
I'll be
go. I
in
was
Texas.
waiting. We had made it the whole show without you really coming out. You did a little early. You had some critique, and that was people expect that. But I
Yeah.
was waiting for the government sucks deal.
You know what?
Yeah.
One of the best things about this podcast we've ever done is when occasionally Max Armstrong would tune in.
Yes.
Because like for me, like I don't know, Brian, you're a radio veteran. You're a radio
I am
professional.
a radio veteran.
You've gotten compliments from Orion Samuelson. You've got there are very important, very good. Spike Odell loved it. Like there are very good radio veterans that know you're really good at what you do. I'm less in that like area. Like Spike was like, you were a good intern, but Spike was never like, you're a great host, Cody. Like, I don't know, maybe he was, but you know what I mean? Like, it was very validating for me personally. Like, it was very much a pinnacle when Max Armstrong is like hopping on our thing, being like, you guys are fun. I'm like, oh my God, Max Armstrong thinks I'm fun. And then I know I scared him away. Because my drunken political, like just because like the podcast was mostly fun. And then around the election time, I just started screaming about how much I hate America most of the time. Not a good look. And I still think it scared him off. But the other day, Brian, my CEO like interviewed me about what makes good podcasts, and he created a bunch of videos out of it to market our company.
I've seen them on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and I posted them on LinkedIn, and Max Armstrong commented on one the other day.
There you go.
And he said, "You're spot on, Cody. This is exactly right." And I just felt like it's weird, like the places where validation comes from, how like outsized of an impact they can sometimes have.
Yes, I agree with you, and I know exactly how you feel, and there's nothing I can do to belittle it which hurts me. I always look for a way to kind of tamp things down, but I know exactly what you mean. And it's not that, oh my God, now, I'm going to ascend to the heights of wherever, but it's like, this is a person that I respect.
Yes.
And I respect not only his talent and his longevity, but the fact that he is a true gentleman. And so it carries a little more weight than just some anonymous commenter on Twitter or somebody else, somebody who may have a great resume on LinkedIn that comments on your post and who you go, oh, that's nice. But when you have that personal connection to someone you really respect, it's like, look at that. Puts a little wind in your sail for the day. Even if it's only for a little bit, you're like, what do you know about that? I guess I do know what I'm doing.
And a week before that, Charlie Meyerson had commented on something I did. And I screenshot it and sent it to my executive team. And I'm like, you don't know who this guy is, but I know who this guy is. Let me tell you who this guy is. And the awards he's won and whatever. Like, yeah. So
no, it's congratulations. Well, I felt good. Max dropped a comment on a comedy clip that I posted the other day, which I had never done before. But yeah, it was because somebody's like, well, listen, I've never seen your act, so I don't want you to use my name and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, well, one, I guess I get it. I understand. But then I was like, let me throw this up and, just in case there's anybody else who, as I'm looking to get more bookings, is like, do you have any clips or anything? I was like, yeah, all right, I got this clip. So, it's horrifying.
Clips are good, man. Clips are good.
Clips. I got to get the clips. We got to get everything rocking. All right. So next week you will be in Dallas. You'll be jetting off to you will be deep in the heart of Texas. I wish you were going to San Antonio, because then I would ask you to go to the Alamo and find the basement, and then just stand in the Alamo and say, "The stars at night are big and bright," and everybody would go, "Deep in the heart of Texas." You never saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Is there a pizzeria there?
In the
Alamo? Basement.
No, there's nothing like that would happen at the Alamo. There's actually no basement. That was a Pee-wee's Big Adventure joke.
I love Pee-wee. I watched him every day when I got home after class in high school. I mean, I saw him before that, but also like senior year, they started running reruns, and I would literally get home at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, watch Pee-wee's Playhouse, and pass out for a nap. Great. Never saw
nice.
The Big Adventure though. Should I?
Big Adventure is, yes, the Big Adventure is fun. If you liked
Oh.
Pee-wee, the Big Adventure was fun.
Yes.
Yes.
My
So-
wife finds him creepy, so I can't watch it with her around.
Well, I get it. You know, in retrospect, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I got it.
You're like, yeah, that's fair.
Mike is claiming that the Alamo actually has a basement. We're gonna have to look into this, Mike. Not that I
Okay.
don't trust you. You know, I think I trust you, Mike. But the Alamo have a basement. I've been in the Alamo. It was not very big. And it's right in the middle of the city. Your audio is off, Cody. You turned your mic down.
You'd think one of you would remember it.
I do remember the Alamo. Now it's hold on. There's all different kinds of things. One, the first thing that comes up, the Alamo does not have a basement, but the gift shop does. Let's see. There is a basement in the Alamo, according to this, and other things you didn't know. Stop it. There is no basement. All right. Well, we're gonna have to look into this. This sounds. Ozzy Osbourne did once pee on the Alamo. I don't know if you knew that, Cody.
Why would he do that?
Because he was drunk.
Oh,
I think that's why he was banned. If memory serves me, he was banned from working in San Antonio. He was arrested for public intoxication, yes, and permanently banned from San Antonio.
Wow.
The ban was in place for 10 years. Then he was publicly pardoned after he bought off the Daughters of the Republic of Texas. But you're going to Dallas, and that's a whole different thing. I want you to look for JR and Bobby. Try to get Sue Ellen. Did you ever watch Dallas?
No, I'm looking at Mike dropped a video in the chat, and it's Pee Wee Herman talking about the Alamo basement. Is this from Pee Wee's Big Adventure?
I don't know. I can't see it. And I don't think we can share the video, can we?
I'm
getting in trouble?
But yeah, no. Wow, interesting. Huh.
All right.
I'll check it out later.
We'll figure it out. All right. Well, listen. Have fun. We're going to wrap it up because it's time to go.
Okay.
You've been up all day. You flew in from God only knows where. So Gidget is howling at the door. She wants to come in. So I got to let her in. But so next week, you will not be here. I will update people as whether I will be here with a guest host or not, depending on what happens. But then in 2 weeks, we will hear all about the Texas adventure. So I want to hear. And listen, don't come back with crazy facts about Dallas like you did with Martha's Vineyard.
No,
I want some. If you're going to drop down some demographic information, if you're going to drop geographic information, if you're going to tell me Dallas is really in Arizona, I don't want to hear it. Come back with real facts and real stories. And Mark Cuban, Paris Hilton, and the guy with the wildest, thirstiest wardrobe.
Okay.
Guy or gal.
I'll do it. It'll be a guy. Most podcasters are men by a slight margin. Podcasters there's actually pretty good representation racially among podcasters. This I do know because a report just came out.
Well, I trust you on podcast stats because that's your business.
Yeah,
I don't trust you on the demographics of Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, good representation across pretty accurate, like underrepresented groups are well represented in podcasting, but not the male gender. The gender split's still a little skewed. It's like 60-40 male or something.
All right, that's close, but close to 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get it there. All right. Anything else you got?
No. What about you? Any shows coming up?
Yeah, the 26th. So a week from Friday, I will be in Highland Park at Madame Zuzu's Tea House. It's Billy Corgan's place. So we're doing some stand up there.
Sounds like it's Madame Zuzu's place.
Well, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins owns it. It's named Madame Zuzu's.
Huh.
I don't know
Seems
why.
sexism. That's why.
I probably should know why, but I don't. Someone will correct me, and that's okay. But yeah, that's what I got. That's the next big outing. So
That's tight, dude. I got
it is
nothing
tight.
at all. I just got a week off, and then I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come in hot like I
I
do.
can't wait. We're gonna have all sorts of country western accoutrements to listen. Bring back have a couple Shiner Box while you're down there. That's the official beer of Texas.
Okay,
So drink some Shiner. Enjoy yourself.
can do.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends, blah, 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 like and follow, yada, yada, all the usual stuff. Hey, guys. That's it. Cody?
Tell one friend about your show as long as it's not a snowflake. I don't want you to tell a snowflake about the show. Bye.